Okay, hi, I'm Jay, and today we're going to be learning about spit. No, this is a cereal dilution, and there's a dog assistant under the table. So you're going to need 5 of these 3M Petrifilm papers. Now, don't do what Austin did and go underneath and label them. What you want to do is you want to label on the outside of each one. You're going to label your name, the date, and one of them is going to be 10 to the negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8. So need that. Next thing you're going to need are 10 of these microcups. These should be in a baggie somewhere, and you're going to label them from 10 to the negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, all the way up to 10 to the negative 8, and stop. And then you're going to label 1 control, I just put C, and you're going to label 1 saliva or spit, which I just labeled S. You're also going to need something in your kit that looks like this. It should say PBS on it. That is your effluent. That is what you're going to be using to dilute your sample that is not spit in your sample. So what you're going to do is you're going to either need this pipette or this pipette. I'm comfortable using this one, so I use the big one to more accurately get 1,080 microliters. What I did was I put this to 80 microliters, and I put 80 microliters of the PBS in each one of these, not the saliva cup, but each one but the saliva cup. I put 80, and then I put the remaining 1,000, which is exactly 1 milliliter, which is this top line on your transfer pipette. That's 1,000 microliters, 1 milliliter. So you could do 80, 80, 80, 80 with the big one, and then do 1 whole milliliter, 1 whole milliliter, 1 whole milliliter for a total of 1,080 mils in each of these cups. And I've already done that, so you can see the line of the liquid in there. So each one of these from 10 to the negative 1 to 10 to the negative 8, and your control will have 1,080 microliters of your PBS. You can then close your control cup because that's the only thing going in there. That's going to be just the effluent, nothing else. So nothing should grow in your control, ideally. And so then what you're going to do is you're going to spit in your cup, and you're going to have at least 120 microliters in there. These are labeled, I believe. They're labeled on the outside. I don't know if you can see that. See the 1.5, 1.9. So those are microliters. So you need at least 120 microliters, up to the bottom of that thing right there. The tip is about 250, so that should be fine. Once you do that, you're going to then take 120 microliters out of this, preferably with this set to 120 microliters. You can then use your pipette tips, and you're going to take 120 microliters of this, and you're going to add it to your 10 to the negative 1. What that does is it takes pure saliva, and it gives it to this 10 to the negative 1 cup, which is 1,080 microliters, for a total of 1,200 microliters. So 120 out of 1,200 is 1/10, or 10%. Then you're going to shake this up, mix it real good, and then you're going to take 120 microliters of this and put it in your 10 to the negative 2. So you're just going to take 10% of that and put it in here. And then you're going to do that again, 120 microliters, 120 microliters, 120 microliters, all the way down to your 10 to the negative 8. So what you're basically doing is you're making it 10% less not less, but you're making each dilution 10% of the one that came before it. So this is going to be a 10% solution, or 10 to the negative 1. This is going to be 1/100th, 1/1000th, 1/10,000th, all the way down to 1/100 millionth of the original strength of your saliva. Then what you're going to do is you're going to have 1,080 microliters in all of these, except for your 10 to the negative 8, which you'll have 1,200 in there, because that's going to be your last one. What you're going to do is you're going to take 1 milliliter, and so that becomes easy. You just use your transfer pipette again. Top notch is 1 milliliter. You're going to take 1 milliliter from your solution, your diluted solutions, and you're going to put the corresponding solution on each paper underneath the wax covering. So you lift it up, you put down the 1 mil, you put this back down nice and slow to get like no air bubbles, and then you should have also in your kit one of these. This is the spreader. It's flat on one side and it's indented on the other. You can put this on top of your sample and sort of smush it. Don't tap because you can make air bubbles, but just gently press down. It'll spread it out evenly. And then you let it incubate. What you'll see on here is dots of red, because there should be a red dye in here if it works properly. And you'll see red dots growing. What you'll do after 24 to 48 hours is you'll count the colonies on each one of these. And the ones that have between 30 and 300 colonies are good. Those are the ones you're going to count, and you're going to extrapolate back based off of which one you're using to count off of back to your original sample. So if you use the 10 to the negative seventh, that's 1/10 millionth. You're going to multiply by 10 million to get back to how much was in your original saliva. So if this has 25 colonies on it, not good enough. All right, we'll go 10 to the negative 6. Maybe that has 130. All right, 130, 1 millionth. So multiply by a million. It's 130 million bacteria in your original saliva. Now, in 1 milliliter of your saliva. So you can adjust from that. 130 million per milliliter. You can leave it like that or whatever the units are that we're supposed to have. So that's it. That's serial dilution. You're going to do 120, 120, 120, 120, all the way down. And I'm not sure if we're going to have to put our control on one of these. I have to look at the manual again to see, but I only saw -4 through -8 on there. These for sure have to be on there. So that's it. Good luck, and let me know if you have any questions.